Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Ben Cleary. You know, we have all kinds of tools in the tax preparation business that help us do our job better. Our software, for instance. Well, there's one tool that you can use as a tax preparer that you may not know about, and we're going to tell you all about it today. It's called IntelliConnect, and it's a tax and research tool. Our guest today is Blake Floyd. Blake's one of our product specialists in tax and research here at CCH Small Firm Services. Blake, good to have you with us.
Good to be here, Ben.
Tell us about IntelliConnect. First, what is IntelliConnect?
Well, essentially, IntelliConnect is CCH's online-based research platform. It's designed to make research not only more accessible, but also very intuitive to use.
So I'm a tax preparer. What does IntelliConnect do for me?
Well, consider a time when you've been working on a tax return and you come across a question that's beyond your expertise level, and you need to go somewhere to get answers. Chances are you've got a bookshelf full of books, federal tax expert, state tax laws, and you go to that bookshelf and you thumb through each one of those books to get your answers. Well, chances are you may find an answer in one book, but there's an alternative explanation in another book. Mm-hmm. And think about all the time that you spend, perhaps hours, perhaps a whole day, going to find one answer to one question. When you're done with that, you have to turn around and go back to that tax return you were working on. And if you're anything like me, you've probably forgotten about where you were on the tax return in that 8-hour period, and you're kind of at a loss.
So how does IntelliConnect bypass all of that?
Well, think of IntelliConnect kind of like the way you would Google or Yahoo. When you go out to the internet and you need some information about a topic, you type in the search term and it brings up thousands, millions of results. Mm-hmm. IntelliConnect is designed the same way. What it does is it combines all that research into one central platform. So when you type in a search string, it's going to pull from all those different resources and bring up in one long list of answers. Now you can make it as broad or specific as you want. From there you can narrow down to a specific type of research source. You can actually click on hyperlinks and display the articles. Your keywords are highlighted. You can print, you can save, you can email, you can do everything that you can do using a book, but do it in a lot shorter amount of time.
Yeah, it sounds like a tremendous time saver. I mean, to be able to, everybody uses Google nowadays, and to be able to put a term in and actually search for that term. And how many different sources does IntelliConnect look at? What kind of sources do they look at?
Well, it's all the federal tax, state tax, CCH tax briefings, and it's all up to date. So if something happens, today in Washington, it's going to be updated in the software. Whereas if you have a hard copy of a book, there's no way to get that updated.
So it's going to reference all of these other materials that are out there, plus all the other stuff that we may not have in our library.
Right.
And give you the answers based on that.
Correct.
So how definite can you make a search string or a search term?
Well, I mean, you can get as specific as possible. One of the search strings I like to use when I'm showing a customer how to use it is capital gains. Mm-hmm. And if I do a search on capital gains, I get 28,000 different results. Well, the nice thing about IntelliConnect is you can actually narrow down your results within that search. So I can do a search within the capital gains and look for short-term capital gains. And from there, I go from like 28,000 to, 500 results. Mm-hmm. So you can, like I said, you can get as very specific as possible.
Yeah, I know IntelliConnect is customizable by the user to a certain point. What are some of the things we can do with it?
Well, you can save your search strings so that, if you see that yourself having questions about these particular topics over and over again, mm-hmm. you save your search string, so that's one less step that you have to do. Log into IntelliConnect and pull up that existing search string. You don't have to print out or save the documents right away. You can store them to a document tray for retrieving them a little bit later on.
So I guess even if you mostly do 1040s, you could still use IntelliConnect to research information and things that come in off the street and information from people that you're working with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All the way from your simplest 1040 to your most complex business return, IntelliConnect has all the answers you need.
So if I'm a tax preparer and I specialize in corporate tax returns and do a lot of corporate work, IntelliConnect then is still, I can customize it to where I can go into those questions that I need a little easier.
Yes, sir.
Sounds great. I guess the best way to really learn more about IntelliConnect is if you would take us to the computer screen, walk us through IntelliConnect, and show us a little bit about how it works.
Okay. Okay, to begin, we're on the TaxWise Solution Center, and what we want to do from this point is click on Latest News, which is going to take us to the home page where we can quickly click on the IntelliConnect link down at the bottom. And it's actually going to take me out to the IntelliConnect website. Now, typically what you're going to have to do is log in with your username and password, but there is a feature that allows the program to automatically remember that so that you can quickly get to IntelliConnect and quickly do your research and get back to preparing your tax return. To begin, just to run a simple search, all you have to do is come up to the top, and we're searching for all content. And I'm going to do a basic search on capital gains, and we'll see what the program brings up. Okay, it brings up over 28,000 results. And from here, I really want to narrow this down. So what I'm going to do is go over to the Narrow Results section, click on Regulations, and I want to click on Final and Temporary to see what that brings up. Now I've narrowed it down to 346 results, a little bit more manageable. What I do from this point is I'll go through my list. When I see something that I like, I just click on the hyperlink, and the article or regulation is going to open up down below. Now very quickly you'll see that anywhere my keywords show up, they're going to be highlighted in yellow, which enables me to quickly get to the answer that I need and of course get back to my tax return. From this point I can send this to a document tray to look at a little bit later on. I can save it or email it, I can print it, and I can actually print it to PDF. All at the same time, my search string stays open above, so I can scroll through and find other articles that are piquing my interest. From this point, if I wanted to narrow the search down a little bit further, what I can do is run a search within results just by going to the top and clicking on within results. Okay, and I'm going to do a search for short term. And you'll notice what the program does. It continues that search within the regulations and the final and temporary regulations and brings it down to 90 results. And from this point, I can do the same thing, clicking on the results, bringing up the hyperlinks, saving, sending to a document tray, or printing these particular articles. From this point, if I'm kind of tired of doing this search and I want to table it for a little bit later on, what I can do is actually go run a all content search and search under completely different parameters. And what you'll see now is I get almost 1,200 results under section 179, but all at the same time, my tab for short-term capital gains, that search has still remained up here at the top. The bottom line of using IntelliConnect is that it's very easy to access. It's very thorough in terms of the research capability, and it's very easy to get to your answers as quickly as possible and get you back to preparing your tax returns.
Well, Blake, thank you for taking us through IntelliConnect. Boy, it seems like it's just so easy to use.
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy. Once you log in for the first time, you save your information. So IntelliConnect is really one click away from you being able to get the answers you need. And the biggest learning curve comes from getting away from using the books to being able to use the internet. But if you can use Google, you can use IntelliConnect.
Sounds great. That's a good way to wrap it up there. Blake, thank you so much for teaching us a little bit about IntelliConnect today and how we could use it in our tax practice.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. And we thank you so much for watching. I'm Ben Cleary. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.